Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel Empowering Finance with Technology. My name is Arnav Dutt. In today's video, we shall explore an interesting and practical topic: how DAX, when combined with data model, is far superior to normal Excel formulas. We often use Excel to calculate key business metrics like gross profit and gross profit percentage. While this works for small static data, it quickly becomes cumbersome and inaccurate when we try to analyze large datasets or dynamic reports. For instance, when you create these calculations directly into Excel, you often need to add multiple extra columns, one for gross profit, another for gross profit percentage, and then build pivot tables for further analysis. But here is the catch. Excel's aggregation sometimes go wrong, especially for calculated percentages. The gross profit values may look fine, but gross profit percentages can be totally misleading. That is where DAX and data models step in. With DAX, we can create powerful measures that perform these calculations correctly, dynamically, efficiently, and without adding any extra columns. Using measures like gross profit and gross profit percentage, we can ensure our analysis remains accurate across all report levels, whether it is by product or by category or overall. In this session, I shall take you step by step through a comparison, showing how Excel handles these calculations versus how Power Pivot and DAX handles them in a much more intelligent way. By the end of this video, you will clearly understand how to create DAX measures for gross profit and gross profit percentage, the difference between calculated columns and measures, when to use each one of the best performance and accuracy. So stay tuned till the end. The session will completely change the way you think about using Excel for analysis. Let's begin.
We shall understand how DAX along with data model is superior to normal Excel with an example. Here, we have got a table which has got 3 columns. The first column contains the product details. The second column contains the sale prices, and the third column contains the cost of the product. We cannot directly get the gross profit and the gross profit percentage from this table. For this, we shall have to expand the table by creating 2 more columns: the gross profit and gross profit percentage. We shall compute the gross profit by subtracting cost from sales. We shall compute the gross profit percentage by dividing gross profit by sales. Format gross profit percentage column to 1 decimal. Here we have obtained the gross profit and gross profit percentage of each item sold. To do further analysis to find overall and category-wise gross profit and gross profit percentage, we shall have to create a pivot table. Select the entire table to insert a pivot table. From the pivot table fields, we shall select the fields products, sales, cost, gross profit, and gross profit percentage. While the gross profit is shown perfectly in the analysis, gross profit percentage is absolutely wrong as Excel just aggregated gross profit percentages. Let us color this column in red to show it is wrong. To find out gross profit percentage, we have no other alternative but to manually create the gross profit percentage column. Here, we shall use the formula D15 divided by B15 and copy it to rows below. We have manually created the gross profit percentage column. We want selective analysis, it will work. We shall achieve the same result directly without creating two more intermediate columns by using DAX measures and data model. Select the table, and then go to Get Data. From other sources, select the table/range. The Power Query will open. Go to Load and Close to. A pop-up box will open. Click the radio button, only create connection, and then tick Add to the data model. The data will be added to the data model. Below the thick line, create the first measure gross profit. Gross profit will be equal to sum of sales minus the sum of cost. We shall create another measure, which is the GP percentage, and GP percentage will be equal to gross profit divided by sum of sales. Format the gross profit percentage to 2 decimals. Click Pivot Table. Opt for creating the pivot table in a new worksheet. From Data Table 1, we shall select the fields Product, Sales Cost, and the measured fields Gross Profit and GP percentage. You will see everything is properly computed. Now, we can do further analysis, and we shall have no problem in doing him. As, for example, we shall select Clothes and Electronics, and it will show proper data for both the two items. Next, we shall select Electronics and Furniture, and last of all, we shall choose Clothing and Furniture. Power Pivot correctly shows the data of gross profit and gross profit percentage. We have understood how to create measures. Now we shall understand how to create calculated columns. First, go to the heading and type gross profit. Select any row, but preferably the first row. Click the sales column and DAX formula will be automatically generated on the formula bar. Then input the minus sign and select the cost column. Again, the DAX formula will be automatically generated. Press Enter and the gross profit for all the rows will automatically be calculated. Go to the next column. Give the heading as GP. Click the first row. Input equal sign on the formula bar. Select the gross profit column and then input the slash sign. After that, select the sales column. The gross profit will be calculated for each row. Click the % button to reduce the number of decimals to 2. We have just now created 2 calculated columns. Here are the summarized difference between calculated columns and measures. Storage. Calculated columns are stored in the data model, static values. Measures are not stored, calculated on the fly. Calculation context. Calculated columns are calculated row by row. Measures aggregates or calculates based on report context. Use case. Calculated columns do row-level transformations or static values. Measures do aggregations, dynamic calculations, or KPIs. Performance impact. Calculated columns increases model size, more memory. Measures increases query time, more CPU. Slicing/filtering. Calculated columns can be used as slicers or filters in visuals. Measures cannot be used directly as slicers or filters. Use calculated columns when you need a value for each row that will be reused in multiple places, as for example as a slicer or filter. The calculation is row-specific and doesn't depend on report context. Example, creating a profit column for each transaction. Profit equals revenue minus cost. Use measures when you need to perform aggregations, as for example sum, average, count, or dynamic calculations that change based on report filters. The result is only needed for display in visuals, not for row-level storage. Example, calculating total profit across all transactions. Total profit equals SUMX, sales, revenue minus cost. Is the list of my social media accounts. Feel free to connect with me. If you find the video useful to you, please click like, subscribe to my channel, and press the bell icon to get notification as soon a new video is uploaded. Feel free to leave your comments to improve my channel.